The cold at the wall bites deep. It seeps into the bones of every man who takes the black. For Samuel Tarley, the cold was more than just the weather. It was the chill of fear and isolation. He arrived at Castle Black not as a hardened warrior, but as a soft, frightened boy, sent away by a cruel father who saw him as a disgrace. Sam was overweight. Sam was clumsy. The other recruits saw him as an easy target. The other boys, led by the sneering Rast, took their turns beating him. He whimpered on the ground, a mound of black wool. He had traded one prison for another. His hope was fading. Jon Snow watched with growing unease. He saw in Sam a reflection of his own loneliness. Jon intervened, stepping in to protect Sam. He used his skill and quiet authority to shield him. He spoke to Sam with respect, asking about his life. He asked about his love of books. At the edge of the world, they found common ground. Jon promised to protect Sam from harm, a lord's bastard, a disgraced noble son, both broken, and together they began to become whole. Bran Stark, once full of life and climbing, was now confined to his bed. The fall had not just broken his body, it had shattered his spirit. He was trapped within himself, consumed by sadness and hopelessness. He told Robb he would rather be dead, a heartbreaking confession. The world he had known had shrunk to the four walls of his room. Into this despair walked Tyrion Lannister, returning from the wall. He didn't offer pity, instead he offered a practical solution. A meticulously drawn saddle design that would let Bran ride again. Tyrion handed the design to the Starks. The saddle would let Bran ride again, feel wind on his face. An act of unexpected kindness from a man the North was taught to despise. This gesture was more than a saddle, it was a lifeline. It said being broken doesn't mean useless. Robb, initially hostile, was taken aback by genuine compassion. Bastards, cripples, broken things, small mercies revealed character. Bran's waking sadness came with strange, vivid dreams. He dreamt of a three-eyed raven calling to him. The raven pecked at his window, beckoning him to follow. While his physical world shrank, a new mystical world opened inside him. Tyrion's empathy for fellow broken people revealed his character. A flicker of understanding between houses. A brief calm before the storm. These small mercies mattered. In the Viper's Nest of King's Landing, Ned Stark began his perilous journey. Not through the snows of the north, but through a labyrinth of secrets and lies. He sought Grand Maester Pycelle, who revealed Jon Arryn's last words, "The seed is strong." The cryptic phrase became the central clue in a deadly puzzle. Ned's search brought him into the city's shadowy corners. He met Peter Baelish, Littlefinger, a man who whispered that he could trust no one. Littlefinger guided Ned to a smith's apprentice named Gendry. Ned saw the resemblance, a bastard son of King Robert. He was gathering the pieces, but the picture remained dangerously unclear. Each clue pulled him deeper into danger. The tourney of the hand was a grand spectacle held in Ned's honor. Knights charged to prove valor, and rivalries played out in the open. The fearsome Sir Gregor Clegane, the Mountain, charged with brutal force. Sir Hugh of the Vale fell a tragic death masked as an accident. Littlefinger later told Ned Sir Hugh had likely been poisoned before the joust. A murder to silence someone who knew too much. Ned, a man of honor, stood alone in a court full of schemers. The capital was a battlefield where whispers were as deadly as swords. Ned's search would put him in mortal danger. The game at court had only just begun. Across the narrow sea, another kind of power was beginning to stir. In the vast grasslands of the Dothraki Sea, Daenerys was slowly transforming. She was finding her own strength, a strength that had been dormant her whole life. She earned the respect of her new people. When Viserys tried to drag her away, she stood her ground. For the first time she struck him, and the world turned. The Dothraki moved to defend their Khaleesi. Viserys was suddenly powerless. She was no longer a pawn. She was a queen in her own right. Later, her handmaiden reveals she is pregnant. A new purpose. She felt a sense of destiny. The balance of power had shifted. Back in the Riverlands, Catelyn rode south, driven by grief and the need for justice. At the Crossroads Inn, her path fatefully crossed with Tyrion Lannister. Armed with Littlefinger's lie, Catelyn saw her chance. She publicly accused Tyrion of trying to murder her son. Her bannermen drew their swords. Tyrion, stunned and alone, was seized and led away in chains. This arrest was a catastrophic miscalculation, a spark thrown into a barrel of gunpowder. Ned was forced into an impossible position. Catelyn's act set a point of no return. The delicate truce between great houses was broken. The Starks and Lannisters were on a collision course. A chain reaction was set in motion. Peace was no longer an option.